There's a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with your body. You know the one. You're sitting in your car, engine off, still in the parking lot, and you just don't move. Not because you're lazy, because some part of you has been gripping so tight for so long that letting go for even 5 minutes feels like a foreign language. I used to think that feeling meant I wasn't working hard enough. Turns out, it usually means the opposite. Here's something nobody tells you when you're grinding toward a goal, whether it's a promotion, a relationship, a business, whatever it is for you. The tighter your grip, the more that thing slips through your fingers. It's almost cruel how that works. And it's not some woo-woo idea either. The old Stoics were talking about this 2,000 years before anybody had a vision board. Curious, Marcus Aurelius ran the entire Roman Empire. Plagues, wars, betrayal from people he trusted, and somehow he kept coming back to this one idea in his private writings. Stay right here, in this moment, and stop fighting the current. Not because fighting is wrong, because most of the fighting we do is against things that were never actually the enemy. Think about water for a second. It doesn't smash through a rock. It just goes around it, under it, over it eventually if you give it enough time. And somehow, given enough patience, water reshapes the whole dang landscape. That's not passivity. That's a different kind of strength, one our culture kind of forgot how to respect. So today, I want to walk you through a handful of ideas, not 10 neat little bullet points. Life ain't that tidy. Just a handful of things the Stoics understood about wanting stuff, chasing stuff, and somehow still being at peace while you do it. Some of these might sting a little. Good. That usually means it's the one you needed. And look, I'm not going to pretend I figured all this out sitting cross-legged somewhere. Most of it I learned the hard way, usually after staying up too late refreshing an email that wasn't going to come, wondering why trying harder kept making things worse instead of better. If any of that sounds familiar, keep listening. First thing, the desperate wanting. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling where you check your phone 40 times waiting on a text back, or you refresh your bank app hoping something changed since the last refresh 3 minutes ago. Epictetus, who spent the first part of his life enslaved before becoming one of the sharpest minds in the ancient world, used to say that real wealth isn't about having a mountain of stuff. It's about not needing very much in the first place. And that sounds nice, sure, but what does it actually mean day to day? It means there's a massive difference between wanting something and needing it like oxygen. When you need it, you get clingy, a little desperate even, and people can smell that from a mile away. When you want something, but you're genuinely fine either way, that's when things start moving toward you instead of away. I've noticed this with people who seem to just attract good stuff, job offers, good relationships, whatever. And it's almost never the ones posting affirmations every morning about how abundant they are. It's the quiet ones, the ones who'd be okay if it didn't work out, so they're not radiating that frantic energy that pushes opportunities right back out the door. Try this. Honestly, just try it once. Take whatever you want most right now and say out loud if you can, "I'd love for this to happen," or something better. Notice what that does in your chest. There's a release there, a little exhale you didn't know you were holding. I had a buddy once wanted a specific job so bad he could taste it. Practiced interview answers in the shower, the whole 9 yards. Didn't get it. Was wrecked for about a week, honestly kind of insufferable to be around. 6 months later, a completely different opportunity landed on his lap, one he wasn't even chasing, and it turned out way better than the first one ever would have been. He tells that story now like it was obvious all along. It wasn't. Nothing about it felt obvious at the time. Second thing, and this one's sneaky because it looks so simple. Presence. Not the meditation app kind of presence, the real kind. Being where your feet actually are. Seneca wrote that real happiness means enjoying what's right in front of you without constantly leaning into some anxious future that hasn't even happened yet. Most of us live about 6 weeks ahead of ourselves at all times, planning, worrying, rehearsing conversations that might never happen. And here's the thing, every single opportunity that's ever come your way came through the present moment, not the future. The casual comment from a coworker that led somewhere, the wrong turn that put you at the right coffee shop at the right time. You miss every bit of that when your head's somewhere else. The magnetic people you know, and you probably know a couple, they're not the ones glued to their phones. They're the ones who actually look at you when you talk. Feels rare these days, doesn't it? That's not a trick. That's just attention, given fully, without an agenda. Try this next time you're stuck in traffic or standing in a checkout line staring at your phone out of pure habit. Put it away for 60 seconds. Just look around. Notice 3 actual things: a sound, a color, whatever. Feels kind of silly the first time. Do it anyway. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the silly exercise and genuine presence. It just responds to what you actually do. Third, and this one people resist the hardest, obstacles aren't punishment. Marcus Aurelius had this line, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path itself." That's not just a cute quote for a coffee mug, he meant it literally. He wrote it while dealing with plague, war, people literally trying to undermine him, and he still landed on, whatever's blocking me is actually the material I get to work with. Think about an oyster for a second. Kind of a weird example maybe, but stick with me. A grain of sand gets in there, irritates it, and instead of the oyster falling apart, it produces a pearl. The irritation is the whole reason the pearl exists in the first place. Your setbacks work the same way, more often than we'd like to admit. So next time something falls apart on you, a deal collapses, someone lets you down, whatever it is, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What's this actually handing me?" Sometimes the delay is protection you can't see yet. Sometimes the door that slammed shut was blocking a hallway you didn't even know was there. Y'all remember a time you were mad about missing a flight and then found out later that flight had a rough landing? Or you met somebody at the gate waiting for the next one who ended up mattering? Maybe not exactly that, but something close. Most of us have at least one story like that if we think back far enough. We just don't collect them on purpose. Maybe we should start. Fourth thing, and honestly this might be the big one, where does your peace actually come from? Epictetus said no one can really hurt you without your permission, and I used to think that was a little unrealistic, NGL, until I actually sat with it. He's not saying bad things won't happen. He's saying the meaning you attach to them, that part's on you. Most people hand their mood to whoever's closest. Your boss says something short, your whole day tanks. Someone doesn't text back, suddenly you're spiraling. That's exhausting, living like that, letting your inner weather get set by other people's moods. Reclaiming that, deciding your peace lives inside you, not out there somewhere. That's not selfishness. That's just taking your keys back. Before you check your phone tomorrow morning, before you look at the numbers, ask yourself how you want to feel regardless of what's waiting for you. Then actually honor that. Little thing changes more than you'd think. Fifth, sometimes doing nothing is the move. I know, sounds backwards in a culture that treats busy like a personality trait. But there's an old idea, not even strictly Stoic, more Taoist really, that the wisest people don't force big dramatic actions. Greatness kind of arrives because they didn't overreach. A lot of what looks like productivity is really just anxiety wearing a business casual outfit. We stay busy because stillness makes our skin crawl a little. But some things genuinely cannot be rushed, no matter how many hours you throw at them. A good chess player doesn't move pieces just to look active. They wait. sometimes for a long, uncomfortable while. And that patience is the whole strategy. This week, just try saying, "I'll wait," when waiting is actually the honest answer, instead of forcing some move you're not ready to make. See what opens up. Sixth, and I almost skipped this one because it sounds so basic, but hear me out. Gratitude. Not the fake kind, not good vibes only nonsense. Real gratitude. The kind that looks straight at a hard situation and still finds something true to appreciate in it. Marcus Aurelius used to remind himself first thing every morning that he'd probably run into difficult, maybe even dishonest people that day. And instead of that making him bitter, he used it to steady himself. He'd already made peace with the day before it even started giving him trouble. There's something almost mechanical about how gratitude works on your nervous system. When you're stuck on what's missing, your whole body runs on scarcity, tight shoulders, shallow breath, all of it. When you actually notice what's already working, something loosens. And weirdly, people who operate from that loosened place tend to attract more of what they already appreciate. Funny how that goes. Seventh, your emotions aren't happening to you. There's something you're actually creating moment to moment, even when it doesn't feel that way. Seneca talked about how the mind that's actually seeking truth doesn't chase every shiny new thing. It keeps coming back to what's steady and lasting. Two people can get the same bad news, same layoff, same breakup, same setback. One person's stuck for 6 months. The other feels it fully, doesn't suppress it, doesn't fake being fine, but doesn't let it drive the car either. That difference isn't luck, it's practice. Next time something hits you hard, pause before you react. Ask what the feeling's actually trying to tell you. Not to skip past it, feel it all the way, but don't hand it the keys. Eighth, the idea of enough. Seneca, one of the richest men in Rome at one point, actually wrote that it's not the man with too little who's poor, it's the man who can't stop craving more. Coming from a guy who had basically everything, that hits different. Enough isn't about lowering your ambitions or settling. It's realizing that the feeling you think is waiting for you at the finish line, that sense of "I made it," is actually available to you right now with what's already in front of you. Weird paradox. The second you genuinely feel like you have enough, you stop grasping and stuff tends to come easier. Not because the universe rewards chill people specifically, just because desperate energy repels and settled energy doesn't. There's one more thing worth mentioning before we get to timing, and it's the one people skip past because it feels obvious. Being honest about who you actually are. Marcus Aurelius once wrote about how much trouble a person avoids simply by not obsessing over what the neighbor thinks or does. Sounds almost too simple to matter. It matters plenty. Every time you shrink yourself to fit somebody else's comfort or chase a goal because it looks good rather than because it's actually yours, you're basically sending mixed signals out into the world. And the world, or the people in it anyway, tend to respond to whatever signal's clearest. Half-hearted signals get half-hearted results. This doesn't mean go be difficult on purpose or announce every opinion you've got to whoever's nearby. It just means in the small moments, a conversation where you'd normally just nod along, a decision where you'd normally default to what's expected, try telling the truth instead, just once today. See what shifts. Okay, one more and then I'll let you go. Timing. This is the one that tests patience the most, honestly, even mine. Marcus Aurelius wrote about accepting whatever fate hands you and loving the people fate puts in your path. Not because he was some passive guy who just let life run him over, but because he'd seen enough of the empire's chaos to know that forcing a timeline rarely ends well. Think back on the actual best things that ever happened in your life. How many of them showed up exactly when you'd planned? Probably not many. Most of the good stuff sneaks in sideways, through some door you weren't even watching. That doesn't mean stop trying. It means hold the outcome a little looser while you keep doing the work. I think about my grandfather sometimes. Worked the same trade 30-some years. Never really talked about manifesting anything. Wouldn't have used that word if you paid him. But he had this line he'd say whenever something didn't go his way. Well, guess it wasn't mine to have. Not bitter, not defeated, just done arguing with reality. Took me a while to understand there was a whole philosophy packed into that one dumb little sentence. Look, none of this is about giving up on what you want. It never was. It's about noticing where you've been white-knuckling something that was never going to respond to force anyway. The Stoics weren't soft. They were soldiers, senators, former slaves who'd seen real loss. And even they landed on this same conclusion over and over. Peace isn't something you find after you get everything sorted out. Peace is usually the thing that gets everything sorted out. None of these ideas are going to fix your whole life by tonight, and honestly, be a little suspicious of anybody promising you that. What they will do, if you actually sit with even one of them for a week, is loosen something that's been clenched for a long time without you even noticing it was clenched at all. Small shift, big difference, eventually. If any part of this actually landed for you today, stick around. This is Stoic Point, and we dig into stuff like this pretty regularly. Old ideas that somehow still work on modern problems. Hit subscribe if you want more of it dropped into your feed. And hey, whatever you've been gripping too tight lately, maybe try loosening your hand just a little and see what happens.